You get the guitar in the meantime. Go Ranga. Go, go, go. Go, go Ranga. All right. We are online. Let's put everything away on my very orderly desk. My desk looks like the desk of a mad scientist. It's probably not too far away from what I am. So, all right, chant one of my favorite songs. Okay. Here we go. Now, if I could find my glasses, where someone must have hidden them, then, all right, let me look for the glasses. All right. Ranga boom, Dehabe, Pulaka, Sharir, Hari Hare, Murite, Nayane, Goranga, Murite, Habe, Pulaka, Sharir, Hari Hare, Murite, Nayane, Ara Kapinitaya Chandera Kunai Ve Samsara Bhajana Mora Kapitu Jai Be Ara Kapinitaya Chandera Corona Oibe Samsara Bhashana Mora Kapig Joybe Vishaya Chati Kame Shurabe Mana Kabe Hamai Raboshri Vrindavana Vishaya Chati Kabe Shurabe Mana Kabe Hamai Raboshri Vrindavana Raghunath Pade Hoy Beya Gatuti Abihama Usay Yugalarti Rupa Raghunath Pade Hoy Beya Gatuti Kabehama Jabo say you got liberty. Raghunath Pade Raho Morahash Ratana Kore Sata Narotamudas Raghunath Pade Rahu Mora Asha Ratana Kore Sada Narotamudas Gauranga Malik Jehave Pulakasharir Hati Hache Vite Nayane Babadir Gauranga Malik Jehave Pulakasharir Hati Hache Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Parabhakacharya. All Stupteta, such as Shimad, His Divine Grace Sabaya Chaitanya Bhagavat Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON, founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Adanta Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuram Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Yamuna Maya Ki Jai, Srimati Lasa Devi Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale. Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samani Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurmani Pacharni Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Teshatarni. Let me read the translation to this poem by Narottam Das Thakur. When will that opportune moment come to me when I shiver upon chanting the name of Lord Gauranga? When will I cry while chanting Hare Krishna? When will I receive the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda, so that my desires for material enjoyment become insignificant? When will my mind be purified of material anxieties and desires so that I can understand Vrindavana? When shall I be very eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis so that I can understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna? The lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis are my only shelter. In constant separation from them, I remain. Naratamadas, Naratamadas, Thakur. Ki Jai. So now we'll go to the Caitanya Charitamrita. So, Meganat Timirandasha Gananjana Shalakya Chakshurin Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual masters, Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So now, let us share the screen. Before that, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Okay, share the screen. And here we go, sharing the screen, wherever the screen may be, from the Caitanya Bhagavat. Let's see, I got so many open screens. There we go. Alrighty. And here we are in the Caitanya Bhagavat. And we just heard about Visvarup, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's brother, taking sannyas. Now, what does that mean that he took sannyas? Or what is the story behind it? Well, he is Lord Nityananda Balaram. And what happened is he heard his parents planning a marriage. And when he heard that, he got scared. And because he was in a particular culture where you're not supposed to disobey your parents, guess what? He left home so he wouldn't have to disobey his parents. That's as I mentioned last time, that's an avoidance strategy when one is in an avoidance situation. What's the avoidance? Doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to follow the order of his parents, and ooh, okay, get the heck out of there and take sannyas. Okay. All right, so let's continue with the story. Now it was mixed emotions with the devotees. I mean, many of them felt very unhappy because they were missing his association, and many of them were happy for him because he had gotten out when the going was good. Okay. We celebrate when someone takes sannyas, and some people don't celebrate when someone takes sannyas, particularly the past family. So let's continue reading. Uttama Madhyama Ye Shunila Nadia. Hold on a second, I have to put something here. So I'm aware of what's going on in the real world. All right, let's go there. Whoops. Okay. Hena nahi, hey shunia dukkha nahi paya. Everyone in Nadia who heard about the incident, whether ordinary or exalted devotee, all felt unhappy. Jagannatha Shatchira Vidirnahaya Bhuka Nirantaradake Visvarupas Visvarupa Putra Shoke Mishra Chandra Haila Vivala Prabodha Karye Bandhu Prabhava Sakala. Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi were both heartbroken and continually cried out, Vishvarupa, Vishvarupa. Sri Mishra was overwhelmed with lamentation for his son, so his friends and all relatives tried to pacify him. So it's explained here that Jagannath Mishra's display of affliction due to lamentation for his son, like that of an ordinary father for his son, was actually to deceive persons who were bewildered by material objects like their sons. The glorification of Sri Vishwarup's acceptance of sannyas and engagement in worshipping Krishna increased the prestige of the Daiva Varnashram sannyasis who destroyed a lamentation born of material enjoyment. So, of course, this was Yogamaya. That's the point. Obviously, under the influence of Yogamaya, he identified the Lord as his son, whereas, in fact, the Lord is no one's son. But this is for the purpose of ras, this particular taste of a relationship. And so, generally, the parents, okay, I guess we'll talk about this. Generally, the parents, they have this sense of possession of the children. So they see the children in the material world as their objects of enjoyment, just like I possess a computer. And so this is my computer. The computer better not have any separate interests other than the interests of its Lord. And so, obviously, I control it. So we try to do that with our children, wife, family members, etc. And it makes people crazy. I've seen that. Sometimes people born in India, they try to control their children, thinking that their children can become little robots like them. And it doesn't work, and then the children rebel, especially when they come to the Western world. And those children are called ABCDs, which means American-born confused Deshis, Australian-born confused Deshis, NBCD, New Zealand-born confused Deshis, or whatever confused-born Deshis. Dear Mishra, please control yourself. Do not feel sad, for that great personality has delivered us all. Goshtate Purusha Yara, Kariye Stanyasa, Tri Koti Kulera Haya Shiva Kunte Vasa. When someone takes sannyas, millions of family members are promoted to Vaikuntha. Haribo. Hey, not so everyone should take sannyas. No, they have to stick to it if they're going to take sannyas. Hey na karma karilena nandana tumara sapalahaila vijaya sampurna tahara. Your son has perfected his education by this act. Ananda vishesha haro karite yuyaya eta bali sakale darye hate paya. Therefore, it is befitting for you to feel even more happy than before. Saying this, they all held the hands and feet of Jagannath Mishra. Of course, that doesn't make someone feel better. But philosophically, it may be correct, but it certainly doesn't make the family members feel better. Just like if someone is in the hospital and they're experiencing pain, you don't say, you are not the body. Got a question here. Let me finish this train of thought. You are not the body. Your pain is illusion. That is not empathy. So what they're saying is true, but it's not empathy. It's true, but it's not helpful, and it's not compassionate, and it's not pleasing. Sacha priya hitam. It's sacha, but not priya and hitam. So the question was raised. Yeah, the answer was given. Okay, what is an ABCD? American-born confused Deshi. So your son Vishwambara is the ornament. Okay. E Kula Bhushana Tamara Vishwambara. E Putra Haibe. Tomara Vamshadara. Your son of Vishwambara is the ornament of your dynasty. Ihaite Sarvaduka Kuchibe Tomara. Koti putre ki karibe, e putra yahara. He will eradicate all your suffering. If one has such a son, that has a son such as him, what is the need for millions of sons? E mata sabe udhayena bandugana tatapi mishra ragduka nahaya kandana. In this way, all of Jagannath Mishra's friends tried to pacify him, but his distress remained unmitigated. In other words, if someone is feeling some pain, preaching to them does not work, Prabhu. Does not work. Don't try it. You're just going to alienate them, and their pain is going to increase. What they want is empathy. What does empathy mean? That you try to understand what they are feeling and their need. And you either reflect it, or just by your body language you show that you care. That's it. Not that you preach to someone. Yete mate darya dare mishra mahashaya visvarupa guna smare darya pasaraya. If somehow or other he regained his composure, as soon as he remembered Vishvarupa's qualities, he again lost his patience. So this happens when someone passes away, or someone takes sannyas, or someone leaves, that anything that reminds you of the person causes pain. I've seen that sometimes. Someone loses a family member, and the family member's room definitely has to be completely redone. Change the carpet, change the walls, change the furniture, everything. Because everything you see becomes an impetus to remember that particular individual. That's called a vibhav, at least material vibhav. Vibhav means that which stimulates some particular emotion. So that's his remembrance of Vishvarupa's qualities stimulated his emotions, which he lost his patience in. I felt very sad, and he was feeling need for connecting with Vishvarupa. Mishra bole, e putra rahibe kagare, e hati pramana mora, nalaya antare. Shri Mishra said, I have no reason to believe that this son will remain at home. Dilena Krishna say putram, Dilena Krishna say, ye Krishna chandera icha, huiba, say. Krishna gave me a son, and then he took him away. Whatever Krishna desires, that is what will happen. So at least he's seeing Krishna there. It doesn't lessen the pain. Swatantra jivara tilar deka shakti nai dehendriya Krishna samarpilun tomat tane. Independent of you, the living entities have no power whatsoever. Therefore, O Krishna, I am surrendering my body and senses unto you. E rupe jnana yoge mishra mahadira alpe chittavritti kalilena stira. In this way, the most sober Jagannath Mishra gradually controlled his mind through the process of jnana. That means knowledge. Jagannath Mishra's modified form of Vatsalya Ras that was born from physical consideration was destroyed when Vishvarupa took sannyas, and he realized that the eternal absolute truth, Lord Vishnu, was his son. Such realization frees one from the shackles of mundane parenthood and is real sannyas. Don't try that with parents. Who has that sort of realization? Hena mate visvarupa haila bahira Nityananda Sarupera Abeda Shatida. This is the story of how Vishvarupa was non-different from Nityananda Sarupa, left home. Ye Shunaye Vishvarupa Prabora Sannyasa Krishna Bhakti Hayatara Chinde Karma Hwansa. Whoever hears the pastimes of Vishvarupa's acceptance of sannyas attains devotional service to Lord Krishna and freedom from the bondage of fruit of work. That's called a Shruti Pala. That means a fruit or benediction of hearing. So Shri Vishvarupa Prabhu is Sankarshan and is therefore non-different from Shri Nityananda Swarupa. The Prakasha expansion of Mula Sankarshan, Shri Baladev Nityananda Prabhu in Mahavaikuntha has appeared as Vishvarupa in Gaura Lila. Mula means the original Sankarshan. Shri Baladev. So Shri Baladev and Nityananda are non-different. If one hears the pastimes of Vishwarup is accepting sannyas, he will attain freedom from the bondage of fruitive activities. Shri Vishwarup has three expansions. The first Purusha incarnation, Karanadaksha Vishnu, that's Mahavishnu, who breathes out the universe. The second Purusha incarnation, Garbhadaksha Vishnu, the one who stays within the universe and gives birth. He's the mother and father of Lord Brahma. And the third Purusha incarnation, Shiro Dakshayi Vishnu, who is in everyone's heart and everyone's atom and also has a place in the Milk Ocean, Svegadvip. If a living entity understands these three Vishnu forms in truth, he can attain freedom from the material concept of life. Visvarupa Sannyasa, Shunya Bhakta Gana, Anishe Vishada Sabe Bhave, Anukshana. As the devotees heard about Vishwarup's accepting sannyas, they simultaneously felt happiness and lamentation. Yevachila Snana Krishna Kata Kahibara Taha Krishna Karilena Amasava Kara. They said, whatever little opportunity we had for discussing the topics of Krishna together, Krishna has taken away. Amarana Ragiba Chale Yana Vane E Papishta Loka Mukha Nadeki Yatkane. Ye Kane. Let us also leave home and go to the forest. Then we will not see the faces of these sinful people. The phrase Papishta Loka Mukha refers to the faces of persons who are averse to Krishna and expert in material life. Now, why would they want to see the faces? Because association brings one's consciousness down to the level of the person you associate with, either by looking or eating food that someone cooked, or hearing their voice. So one has to always remain antiseptic and aseptic by always remembering Krishna. Yaksmarat Pundarikaksham Savaya Avyantara Shuchi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Always keep the Hare Krishna mantra going in your heart, in your tongue, everywhere, in your mind. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Pasandirvakya Jwala Sahiba Vakata Nirantara Satpate Sarvaloka Rata. How long must we tolerate the burning words of these atheists? They are all continuously engaged in materialistic activities. Krishna, Hena, Nama, Nahi Shuni Karo Muke, Sakala Sansana Dubi, Mare Mitya Suke. We do not hear the name of Krishna from anyone's mouth. The entire world is absorbed in illusory happiness. The words Mithya Sukha refers to the temporary happiness derived from sense grayad. Only the Atmaramas, or self-satisfied souls, can experience the eternal happiness of serving Lord Vishnu. When the perishable sensual happiness of the conditioned souls who are averse to Vishnu is checked, or when the object of their happiness is destroyed, that same temporary happiness turns to misery. That's right. Happiness of the mode of passion is like nectar in the beginning, like poison at in the end. A typical example is young boy, young girl. They look at each other. Oh, bliss. And after a while, misery. So anyway, so what is the happiness that a devotee experiences? That experience is called the bhakti rasa. It's like a feeling in the heart. I can't explain it because it's something that's spiritual. How can you explain it? But it's really amazing, intense, unbelievable, all those other nice words. But you cannot understand it. You can experience it. I mean, you can't explain what the taste of sugar is. You have to experience it. Because I don't take sugar. But, so it's like the taste of anything. How do you explain it to people? You can't. Bujhaile ke Krishna patana hi laya uladiya harose upahasa karya. Even if they are instructed, they will not take to devotional life. On the contrary, they taunt us, saying, materialists were maddened with temporary material happiness. They could not understand the supreme absolute truth, and as a result, they became scornful and laughed. But actually, they were unable to understand the service of Hoksha Jala Krishna by the strength of their sensual knowledge. Rather than understanding that devotional service to Lord Krishna is the only necessity, such materialists become attached to this world and the fruits of their work. Krishna bajai tumhara haila kon sukha mangya sekao arobari yata duka. What pleasure you do derive by worshiping Krishna. You even have to beg for your food. In this way you increase your distress. At least we don't have to work like asses. Foolish persons who are averse to Lord Hari compare the materialists with Krishna's devotees by saying the devotees of Krishna have no enjoyment and they always live in poverty, which simply increases their misery. So this, of course, is in reference to renunciates who beg for their food. And their begging is basically not for the sake of obtaining food, but for the sake of giving people an opportunity to serve Krishna through them. That's it. That's the only reason that renunciates beg. Real renunciates. Yogyanahe sabha lokera sane vasa vanichale yanapale sabichare shasa. It is not proper to live with such people, therefore we should go to the forest. Saying this, they sighed deeply. Prabodhena sabare advaita mahashaya paiba paramananda sabe nischaya. Attempting to console them, Shri Advaita Prabhu said, you will all certainly attain great ecstasy. Wow. Eva Bada Vason Muni Hridye Ulasa Hena Bushi Krishna Chandra Kalila Prakasha. Even now I am feeling overjoyed at heart, so I can understand that Sri Krishna Chandra has already advented. Of course, that's in relationship to little Nimai, who just visited his house naked. Sabe Krishna Gao Kia Parama Harishe Etai de Hiva Krishna Kateka Divase. All of you, go and happily chant Krishna's names, and in a few days you will see Krishna right here. Tomasavalana Haibe Krishnera Vilasa Tabe Se Advaita Hana Shuddha Krishna Dasa. Krishna will enjoy his pastimes with all of you. Then the meaning of my name, Advaita, will be fulfilled, and I will be celebrated as the unalloyed servant of Lord Krishna. Ecstatical. Kadachit Yahana Paya Shukad Va Pralada Tumasavara Vritjeo Paibe Se Prasada. All you devotees will receive mercy that even Shukadeva Goswami and Prahlad Maharaj did not receive. Let's see, how long is this purport? But not too long, we can read it. In the pure servitorship of Krishna, there are no mixed or separate interests. Although the characteristics of both the Absolute Truth, Krishna, Sri Krishna, and the ingredients of his enjoyment are qualitatively one, his multifarious energies manifest a variety of pastimes. In the philosophies of Shuddha Dvaita, which means purified dualism, Shuddha Dvaita, purified monism, Dvaita, monism and dualism, and Vishishta Dvaita, specific monism, the worship of Krishna is primarily stressed. Such non-dual consideration was also accepted by Sri Advaita Prabhu. In other words, basically, Chincha Beta Beta Tattva philosophy, which means everything, in one sense, is the same as Krishna, and everything, in another sense, is different. Now, I'm going to relate this to a question that was asked me the other day by a devotee. She said she heard that when you offer an apple to Krishna, it becomes spiritualized and Krishna's mercy and everything like that. And her father thought, well, that means they are worshiping nature, like some primitive religion. But that's not the point. An apple, okay, you offer an apple to Krishna, and in one sense you're eating Krishna, in another sense you're not eating Krishna, because the apple doesn't become Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In every sense, it's one and different. It's transcendentalized, it's purified, it's transmuted to spiritual energy. So it's everything is the same as Krishna and different simultaneously, like the sun. Everything is the same as the sunshine is the same as the sun, but it's also different. Got it? So there's the energy and the energetic. The energetic is Krishna. The energy is what emanates from him. Okay? So there's a difference and a non-difference simultaneously. So this is really what's been pointed out here. In the Sri Caitanya Chandramrita, Sri Dandi Swami Srila Prabhupada has stated the dear devotees of Lord Gaura happily enjoy pastimes on the splendid path of pure devotional service, which great sages like Vyasadeva could not thoroughly understand, which material intelligence has no power to enter, which Shukadeva Goswami could not reveal, and which merciful Lord Krishna never revealed to his devotees. Wow. So in other words, by Prabhupada's mercy, coming in contact with Prabhupada's presentation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, we are actually getting so much mercy that even great sages could not understand that mercy. Wow. We should be so thankful at every minute. Srila Rupa Prabhu has stated in his Upadeshamrita, that's Rupa Goswami, 11 as follows. Yat preshtarapyalam asulabam kim punar bhakti bhajam. That which is very rarely attained, even by great devotees, is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. Of course, that's in reference to Radha Kund. And Radha Kund, or the mood of Radha Kund, is manifest by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's true. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya. So you're immediately being exposed to the highest understanding, the highest association by associating with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees. Okay. Shunyadve tera atiyamrita vachana paramanande hari bole bhaktagana. After hearing Sri Advaita's nectarian words, all the devotees chanted the name of Hari in great ecstasy. Huri boli bhaktagana kariye hunkara sukamaya chittavritti hoila sabhara. As the devotees loudly chanted the name of Hari, their hearts were filled with happiness. Shishu Sange Kridakare Shri Gaura Sundara Hari Dwani Shuniyaya Bhadira Vittara. Shri Gaura Sundara was playing outside with some other children, but when he heard the name of Hari, he went inside the house. Ki Karye Aila Baba Bole Bhakta Gane Prabhu Bole Tomara Dakila More Kele. The devotees asked him, "Why did you come here?" The Lord replied, "Why did you call me?" Eta Bole Prabhu Shishu Sange Danayaya Tatapina Chane Keha Prabhuramaya. Saying this, the Lord ran away with the children, yet by his influence no one could recognize him. Yeyavadi Visthurupa Haila Bakira Talavadi Prabhu Kichu Haila sustira. Since Visvarupa left home, the Lord became somewhat more peaceful. Niravarita pita matara samipe dukkha pasarayena janani janake. He constantly remained at the side of his mother and father so they would feel some relief from their distress. Kela sambhadya prabhu yatna kari pade tilar dikka pushtaka charya nahi nade. The Lord stopped playing and concentrated on his studies. He would not leave his books even for a moment. Ekabara ye sutra Pariya Prabhu Yaya Arabara Uladiha Sabare Tekaiha. The Lord mastered a sutra after reading it only once, and he was able to defeat all others in debating its meaning. So the word Uladiya comes from the Hindi word ulta, which means turn down, or rather. The word Tekaya means put into danger or defeats. Dekya purva buddhi sabe prashamse sabe pole tanya pita matahena wangshe. Everyone praised his wonderful intelligence and declared, glorious are the father and mother who have such a son. Santoshe kahena sabe jaganatha stane tumita kritarta mishra ehena nandane. In satisfaction, they then said to Jagannath Mishra, you are most fortunate to have such a son. Emata saburi shishu nahi tribhuvane vahashpati jinnina haive adyayane. In the three worlds there is no child as intelligent as this boy. He will defeat Brahaspati in learning. Shunile sararta apane vakane tana pungi vakanite nare konajale jane. He can explain the meaning of anything he hears just once. No one is able to defeat his reasoning. The word hunki is a corruption of the Sanskrit word hokliha, which means finding faults in a conclusion, creating doubt, and again reestablishing the original conclusion, shrewd argument, or cleverly. Shunina putre raguna janane harisha mishra punakchite bada haya pimarisha. Mother Shachi was pleased to hear about her son's extraordinary qualities, while Jagannath Mishra again became greatly morose in heart. So why would Jagannath Mishra become very greatly morose in heart? We're going to hear about it. The word vimarisha means morose. Shachi prate bole Jagannatha Mishra vara eho putrana rahibe samsara vitara. Sri Mishra said to Shachi, this son will also not remain at home. So he's giving a hint. He's afraid that if Lord Chaitanya hears about the temporary nature of this world, hears about illusion, hears about the problems with attraction, and sees the ultimate nature of material reality, he will reject it. I was listening to a class this morning where Prabhupada was quoting this one verse from the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Neha Nayam Deho Deha Bhajamri Loke Kashtam Kamam Arite Vidbujam Ye Tapot Divyam Putrukadjena said Shudyaz Yasmad Shudyad Brahmashokam Churantam. And Lord Rishabhati was advising his sons, my dear sons, you've taken a human body. Bhajanri Loke Kashtam Kamam Arite Vidbujam Ye. Don't act like pigs. Because the pigs, or stool eaters, you should just engage in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And human beings, generally, that's their activities too. So we're meant, tapo divyam putraka said, tapo divyam putraka sattvam, You're meant to engage in transcendental austerities. There's my Brahma Shokam Chunantam, which means basically you're meant to, Ramashoka, to experience spiritual happiness. So, give up this material world. So, Jagannath Mishra is afraid that Lord Chaitanya is going to read those verses. Emata Vitsvarupa Parisara Shastra Janila Sangsara Sacha Nahi Tila Matra. Shiva Swarup studied all the scriptures and understood the temporary nature of this world. Don't read the Bhagavatam, Prabhu. Don't read the Gita. It'll spoil your material life. Once you take out of Krishna consciousness, your whole material life is finished. Why? Because you'll always be reminded of the philosophy. There's no enjoyment, temporary nature. Oh my God. Sarva Shastra Marma Jani Vasurup Tira Anitya Sangsara Haite Haila Bahira. After learning the essence of the scriptures, the sober-minded Visvarupa gave up transitory material life. Eho Yadi Sarva Shastra Reba Yanavan Charya Sangsara Sukha Karibe Payana. If this boy also becomes well versed in the scriptures, then he will also give up material happiness and leave home. So please don't read the Bhagavad Gita. The word payana is a corruption of the word prayana, which means depart, go, or journey. E putra sabi dvijanera jivana iharena dekile dvijanera marana. This son is our life and soul. If we don't see him, we will both certainly die. This is interesting. The word Dvi, Janera, refers to Vishwambara's father and mother. Ateva Vihara, Pariya Karya Nai, Murka Hana, Gade Mora, Rohuka Ni Vani. Therefore, he should no longer study. Let Nimai remain at home as a fool. Actually, you see this sometimes that parents may try to keep their kid with them forever and ever and ever. Shachi bole, murka haile, jiveka kemane, mukere ta kanya, nadive kona jane. Shachi replied, if he remains a fool, how will he survive? Furthermore, who will offer their daughter to a fool? Very important consideration of a mother. The word jiveka means continue to live. This word is used in Radhadesh. Mishra bole, tumita aboda vipra sata, hatta karta bharta Krishna sabhara rakshita. Jagannath Mishra replied, you are the ignorant daughter of a Brahmin. Lord Krishna is the doer, the controller, the maintainer, and the protector of all living entities. In other words, if he's meant to starve, he'll starve, and he's not meant to starve, he's not going to starve. So Krishna takes care. What is it? Nityo Nityanam Chaitanya Chaitanam Eko Bahunam Yobradati Kama. Jagat Poshanakare, Jagateranata, Panditye Posya Keva, Kahila Tumata. The Supreme Lord maintains the entire universe. Who told you that good education can maintain one? The word poshaye means maintains. Kiba morka, kiba pandita, yahara yikane, kanya likiache Krishna, se hoive apane. Whether one is a fool or a scholar, they will marry wherever and whomever Krishna has sanctioned for them. Oh my God. Kula vidya ari upa lakshana sakala sabhare poshaya Krishna Krishna sarva bala. Education, birth, and other qualities are only superficial. Krishna alone is the maintainer and strength of all. The word upalakshana refers to that which reveals the propensity of an object, not the primary propensity of the object, rather the secondary quality, tatashta. Sak shate ekene na deka amata padiao amara gare kene nahi bata. This can be directly seen in my life. Although I am educated, I am nevertheless poor. Bharamati Marna Uchari Teo Ye Nare Sahasra Pandita Gya Deka Tara Dware. Someone else may be unable to properly recite the alphabet, yet he may have thousands of scholars at his doorstep. And this is actually something Prabhupada said. He said the most intelligent person is not necessarily the person who knows everything, but actually can control others who know things, knows where to get the information. And Prabhupada gave the example of Henry Ford, who was accused of being stupid, a stupto. And Prabhupada said there was a story, Henry Ford was accused of that, and then he presented the judge, whoever, with a row of buttons and said, look at these buttons. If I push one of those buttons, a certain type of engineer comes. And push another button, another type of engineer comes. So who is more intelligent, me or the engineer? And that's very much related with probably talking about different classes of people. Lazy intelligent, active stupid, or lazy stupid. Of course, the best type of person is lazy intelligent. Not saying everybody should be lazy. That's not the point. But lazy intelligent knows how to get accomplished a lot without endeavoring that much. Lazy intelligent, not he's intelligent, he just doesn't do a damn thing, but he accomplishes a lot through his intelligence. So lazy intelligence, and then active intelligence is the next one in the totem pole. And then after that, surprisingly, is lazy stupid. Because it's better to be lazy stupid than active stupid. Because if you're active stupid, you're going to create havoc. So on that happy note, we're going to end class, and tomorrow we'll continue, stopping the sharing, and we will allow you to unmute yourselves. So you can either raise your hand, unmute yourself, or type in the chat window if you have any questions for us. All right, any questions? People have been really quiet these last few
Gurudev,
days.
please accept my humble obeisances.
Okay, so what's the question, Rakesh? Better be about the class.
Advaita Prabhu said that soon we will get more mercy from the Lord than it was given to great devotee like Prahlad Maharaj and Vyasdev. Can you
That's
please
right.
explain that? Like how did it mean that?
Well, that means Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurata Say Namaha. That Lord Chaitanya is the most munificent incarnation. He's bestowing freely what no other incarnation, avatar, aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has ever given before. And what is that? Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurata Say Namaha. That's what it means. Okay?
Thank you so much, Gurudev. Yes.
That's obvious. That was an easy question. Who has a hard question? Anybody have a hard question or a question? Type in the text window. You have 5 more minutes. Type in the text window, raise your hand. All right, no one has a question. You're all just very quiet tonight. I don't know. In other literatures, everybody had so many questions. All right.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Please
Hare
accept
Krishna,
my humble
Radhika
obeisances.
Rupa.
I'll go Srila Prabhupada.
Good to hear from you. So, what's the question?
My question is, so here, Jagannath Mishra, it was harder to just like pacify him with just like philosophy,
That's
because of like the distress from like his like sons leaving. So I guess just in like I don't know, in one of your empathic, I'm so sorry,
Humanity.
communications classes,
Yeah.
yeah, you had mentioned before that just like whenever people become like, I guess, more religious, they tend to stop being empathic so much, and so it's very easy to like develop like, oh, like don't listen to them, just give them philosophy, and if that doesn't work, then leave them to their own devices. So like, I guess, how do we take more of an empathic approach when preaching, I guess, or
Uh,
like,
well, the best way to take an empathic approach is to be concerned with the person rather than trying to manipulate the person into doing what we think is the best thing for him. So, I mean, using philosophy, first of all, what happens is when one understands the Christian conscious philosophy, one tends to think that one is better than the one was before, or better than other people, or knows more, like that. So it gives one a false sense of superiority. And generally, when we're advising people, especially preaching to people who are suffering, like at the time of death or something like that, a time of a dearly beloved one leaving their bodies, uh, we tend to think that we're superior. We're going to help them. It's this whole savior mentality. That we think, I have this Christian conscious philosophy. I'm going to help you. Well, you're not going to help them. It doesn't work like that. The way you can help them is actually forget about thinking yourself as superior, knowing more knowledge, knowing more techniques or whatever, or more philosophy, but to actually try to understand them instead of trying to think of yourself as the savior. Just think your duty right now is to try to understand them, to facilitate their grief, not to try to get rid of their grief. Actually, that's a really important point. We don't want someone to get rid of grief. We want someone to process the grief and understand the needs and make proper strategies and get in touch with their needs. And in this way, they're able to deal with grief. But we think we're going to save someone. It's this whole savior mentality, like, Superman, or nowadays, I don't know if he's watching right now. I'm not talking about Superman watching. There's one of my disciples who thinks he's Green Lantern. So, anyway, so, you know, people, we have this whole savior. I'm going to be the save the poor lady who's been tied to the railroad tracks, or whatever. It's this savior mentality, and it means we feel we're ourselves superior. So the whole idea is, if we're humble and we basically just want to connect with someone and help someone by connecting with someone rather than saving them from their grief, because grief is actually necessary. It's important to grieve when someone passes away. So anyway, that's the reason we become less empathic, because we become prouder, we become more ritualistic, we have more philosophy, and instead of being more emotional, which actually a devotee is. If you look at these great acharyas, they're extremely emotional. I mean, they have very strong emotions. Instead of like understanding our emotions and being feeling entities, we're actually become little artificial intelligence machines, just processing things. So that's the problem. All right?
yeah, yeah.
The whole
So
idea is to be humble, not think I'm going to save you, but I'm going to somehow connect with you and to see if that helps you. But it's not that me helping you, you're helping yourself. Like I say, God helps those who help themselves. So the whole point is to help people help themselves, not to save people. We often think we're going to save people, so like develop all these codependent relationships where the savior of the fallen, the friend and master of the devotees. Especially as one makes advancement, becomes a guru, you think of yourself, I'm going to save my disciples. And then your Uttariya, the cape, becomes like your cape of Superman or something like that. And then you get, like some of my disciples, they get mobile phones with Batman on them and things like that. I won't mention any names because he'll get very upset with me. So anyway, so on that happy note, I think it's time to end.
Yes, thank you.
All glories to Prabhupada. Thank you for your question.